know, when someone in the mental health field puts you on their prayer list, like, we're at the end of the line here, people, Hi, it's Lauren. Welcome to another skate vlog. So I feel like today's vlog went well, but the practice I had before, which I didn't film, was a disaster. And I don't mean because I didn't perform well. Let's just say that same night I almost checked myself into treatment, but then realized that they actually can't really help me. So basically what happened is I had a really rough, intense session with my psychiatrist, basically feeling trapped to be alive, which of course there's no solution. So that definitely brought up some stuff, but it was an hour and a half session, and I went and I skated, and I felt kind of crappy, and then my heart rate was still up. It wasn't even that I was worried or nervous about anything, but even just standing there, I'm just hyperventilating. So, I tried to skate through it. After about 40 minutes, I was in such just physiological agony that I went off the ice. I think I cried for 20 minutes. I think some kid noticed, and the mom was just like, oh, she's just cold, which is just a knife in the back when you're really suffering, and not just emotionally, physiologically, I could barely walk and stand up without my heart racing. So let's just say that night I was at home, I showered, everything was a mess. I brushed my teeth and had coffee in the shower because I could not imagine doing them separately. And it got to a point where I was on this couch alone, and if I tried to stand up, in about 10 seconds, I would be completely hyperventilating, lightheaded, feeling like I'm gonna just pass out. I ended up calling this residential treatment place, the only one on my insurance that I had been to before, and was seriously thinking about going in. And I talked to the intake person for about an hour. Wonderful human being. He texted me afterwards, and I basically realized that the mental health system cannot help me with this, because I think there is a big facet of this that is physical, not mental. I talked with him for an hour, and I realized a couple of things. One, which he agreed, there is something physical going on. He's like, you don't even seem like you're mentally ill. It seems like something physical. And number two, whatever physical or mental going on, the system cannot help me anymore. They'll give me drugs and they'll house me so I don't hurt myself. There are good people in it, but the system will inevitably fail me, as it has time and time again. And for me to expect anything different from the system would be delusional at this point. And I'm not saying there aren't wonderful people. There are. That person on the phone, he added me to his prayer list, which is the absolute sweetest thing ever. I'm not really that religious, and I don't know, when someone in the mental health field puts you on their prayer list, we're at the end of the line here, people, But it's just super sweet. Text to make sure I was okay, because if I went, they wouldn't help me. If you have a severe psychiatric history like I do with anxiety and stuff, if you tell anyone that you have a high heart rate, they will tell you it's anxiety without running any tests or asking any questions. So it's medical gaslighting at its finest. And let me just explain why I have no faith in the system. I was at UCI in their psych holding center, and I collapsed twice from low blood pressure. No one had ever given me a cause, why it happened, a solution, or any kind of diagnosis. I just collapsed. They took care of me and then just pushed it under the rug and sent me on my way. And this is at UCI, one of the best hospitals. So one of the best places in the country is okay with having someone collapse twice due to low blood pressure and do absolutely nothing about it, not tell me anything about why it happened, how to prevent it in the future, no diagnosis. The one thing they said was, oh, we'll simplify your medication, but like honestly, like that was just their guess, but no one really cared. And so I'm self-diagnosing here, not because I'm a hypochondriac, but because the system either can or will not help me. And I'm thinking they can, but they won't really look into it, which is sad. There is this condition called POTS, post something, something, something. I will put it on the screen. Basically what happens with this is when you get up from, laying or sitting to standing, your body has trouble maintaining your blood pressure high enough. So the heart races in order to keep the blood pressure up so you don't, freaking collapse. The other piece of evidence is when I was in the hospital with these attacks, they were giving me all of these anxiety meds. I'm talking about shots, pills, just insane amounts. The person in the ER, I had gotten like 2 shots of some kind of benzo, he's like, yeah, usually 1, relaxes people, but you've had 2 and you're still walking around, and like really still hyper. And I'm like, oh, maybe you think my heart rate's high and I'm hyper because my body's trying to freaking keep me alive. If my heart rate calms down, I'll collapse like I have. And it's better and worse, and I'll have some really, really bad spells. And I had a really horrific spell for 3 or 4 days after that practice where like I could barely stand up. And obviously from like what I can do physically, like no one's gonna believe me. Whenever I talk about something hard to go through, people generally invalidate, and they're like, instead of being like, oh, she's a strong person, most of the time they're like, well, your problem wasn't that big to begin with. But it's very real, it's very varying, and so it was so surprising that I was able to like put this practice together today as well as I did after the horrific 3 or 4 days. I even got like some Xanax from my psychiatrist because I told him basically like it's so bad now that just being awake is like traumatic and creating new trauma. So I got it, and it didn't really help the heart rate, but it does help me sleep. So that's like even more evidence right there. So with that being said and that history, let's go see me try to take back my life.
Okay, so when I put on my skates, I always put the sock over the laces so they don't tie, and then the leg warmers over. I feel like it works really well. And I also have this coating system for like the edges and the toe picks, so the green edge, pink edge, see little beads, then the orange toe pick, and then yellow edge, blue edge, purple toe pick. And we're just hydrating because of everything we said in the beginning. And we're going. And that's it, like from that angle. We're gonna do crossovers now. And I feel like they're getting better. I mean, it's a backwards one. Still a little awkward, not natural, but they're a simple move, but there's a lot of like little complex details on this edge, that edge, and so we're getting there. It's just still a little bit just awkward. All right, now we're working spins. I am severely underdeveloped in spins because they're so awkward on roller skates. Gymnastics, there it is. And usually people spin one way, but my coach was like, you seem kind of ambidextrous and you do a weird thing on this side, but then another weird thing on this side. So I was kind of confusing her. So we're trying both sides. And I'm trying to do a 1 foot eventually. Of course, before I master the 2 foot, because I don't know. But I'm sort of getting it. I think I've heard like 8 rotations is generally like what you want to aim for. That means you've gotten it. And I was getting confused on like what leg I'm lifting up. So if I'm going this way, Like if I'm going to the right, I lift the left up and vice versa. And yeah, so that left leg lifts up. I need to not kick my butt and just like be balanced over that. But I mean, considering I have almost no experience with them, we're getting there. And then this way I have to remember what leg, because when I'm spinning, I'm like, I don't know, I get confused on what leg's what. And this is just, you put your toe pick a little bit in and then go on like the front part of the skate. Not the very tip, but like a little bit less. So yeah, I don't know why I was getting so confused on like what side and everything. So, okay, and then yeah, they all land. And I was actually kind of chopping up the ice. So I was sort of doing spins, which was satisfying. Okay. And I'm trying to figure out how to go right into a 1 foot spin, which I do not have yet. I should definitely master the 2 foot first. Okay, so that leg position was a little bit better. And we're gonna go the other way. I have to apparently check every time. 3, lift it up, okay. Yeah, I don't really know which way's better. I mean, when I jump, I go to the left, but I'm kind of weirdly ambidextrous. Oh yeah, this is the entrance that like, it's a little bit of a more like advanced entrance. I cannot do it yet, but it's basically like you do the edge, a little 3 turn, and then go into a turn. I'm mostly just doing a loop, but I'm just getting used to it. It's the left side. Yeah, well, at some point. But just getting used to holding that edge, doing a 3 turn, and it needs to be smooth. Like it shouldn't look like just a separate 3 turn. And I was, yeah, feeling kind of out of balance. I'm just swinging it around, but getting used to it. Oh yeah, putting those arms in a nice position too is really important. I do need to pay more attention to my arms in general, which is fine. Oh yeah, T-stop. I should have been doing it from a T-stop this entire time. I kind of forgot that they existed. So yeah, I'm not really spinning. I'm just doing a loop. Oh yeah, this is my jump, I call it. Like I feel like you could definitely do a jump off that forward inside edge and then like an axle, like a raxle, which I think is already something else. But I just don't know why there's not a jump off that edge. There are only 6. And so, okay, I'm trying to do this entrance where you kick the leg up like fully high and then go into an axle, or in my case, a waltz jump. And I can lift my leg higher, but it's balancing on the edge and like where my whole body is that I'm a little bit like unsure of. And yeah, I'm like, okay, I need to do less speed. And so I think part of this is counterintuitive. In terms of you think you like, okay, when you reach back, you think you open your shoulders, but it's actually more closed, open as you kicked, and then closed again. I guess to keep you like cross-checked and balanced. And so it's just counterintuitive. I learned that eventually today. I don't know what we're doing, some kind of breakdance here, but you know, we're having fun. So yeah, it's supposed to be closed, then open, then closed. See how much trouble I'm having when I'm trying to do the opposite? And right, crossover 2, crossover 3, reach back, kick, reach back, but shoulders opposite, and waltz jump. I think I will figure it out in the next minute, I think. Is it gonna be now? Let's see. Is it gonna be now? Oh, I think it's now. No. One more. Closed, open, and look, I can hold it longer when I'm open and cross-checked. Yeah. All right, loops. Okay. It is just a half loop and a 3 turn. I thought I did it. I did not. Oh, Lauren. See, I'm trying to kind of like look at the camera and then look back. But oh, my arms. I do need to like just pay more attention to my arms. They're a little bit out of control, which is fine. Like, how silly would it be to have my whole worth as a person on where my arms are? And yet, that's literally what our whole society is based on, like some kind of thing that we do that's somehow who we are. Speaking of that. And what happened here? You got a toe pick. Boom. I was not paying attention. And yeah, toe pick. If you know the cutting edge, you know. Alright. Oh, my arms like that were very crazy. Let's see. I did a lot of these without really improving. Which I want to focus on like less reps, but just being like fully in the moment and focused. And now I'm trying to do a counting thing just to kind of get a rhythm in my body, because I could feel like there isn't really a good rhythm right now. 3, 4, 5, bend 6, jump 7, land 8. 1, 2, 3, cross 4, 5, 6, land 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I want to change it and spend more time on the cross, like 2 counts, and then 2 counts on the bend, so that I really like actually get into that edge. Okay. Yeah, it's just not a straight line at all, which is what it is right now, so. Oh, all right. Dancing around. I always try to remember, like, oh yeah, I'm not doing it perfectly, but like, look, if you just wanted some kind of physical body to do it perfectly, you could literally make an AI program. So, if you can make an AI program to do this, then why are we trying to do it when we can have someone that can do it perfectly? It's for the experience of it. Of, you know, failing time and time again. And maybe sometimes being embarrassed that you're making the same mistakes over and over again. Oops. And not seeming to learn. Maybe that's more of a life lesson for me. But yeah, that was sort of, I at least attempted to get 3/4 of the way around. All right, so these are flips or flip attempts. Again, arms are a mess, but I'm trying to do the 3 turn into it and really like lean into that lean on the edge. Because, you know, on roller skates, you don't lean. So it's like your body feels a little bit tipped, which feels kind of foreign to me, but it's going to be really helpful. Because without a good 3 turn, it's really going to be hard to get into the jump and continue that circle. Which I think we're just getting halfway around again. Yeah, halfway, and then we just skate the rest of the way around, which is not. And also, it's supposed to be landed on 1 foot. There are no 2-footed landing jumps, despite how often I do them. I'm, you know, mostly self-taught and just throwing stuff just to feel something, I suppose. So cow, that was rough. All right, let's see. I'm trying to perfect my technique. I'm working on that other entrance that's not a 3 turn. That's the mohawk. And I want to learn it with the front foot on the ground. You still take off from that back inside edge, but it's almost like a 4th position takeoff. And I think it just looks so much better. It looks just so much more stable. It's like, see, 4th position. I didn't do it that time, but I think in a second, yeah. Why am I falling? Let's see that. Now we're tilted, so yeah. And my arm is up. I don't know why it's up. It should not be at my level, at skill level. Like, you can get more geo with your arm up. So yeah, that's the 4th position I'm talking about. Turn, and up, mohawk, cow. Sometimes it does feel like I'm going backwards because I was doing this, but it was one of those things, I didn't know how I was doing it. I was just sometimes throwing it and sometimes getting it. So that's the 4th position. That's good. And I just didn't have my arms, I think, in my chest and jump straight up. Now this is toe loop. So, not bad. And toe loop. Except I do think I am pre-rotating. Which, if it's on a single, it's bad news. because no one should ever be free rotating a single. I think I have a slow motion up here in a second. A little bit. Yeah, I think arms in my chest too. Just because, I mean, arms can be different places when you're advanced with artistic style, but when you're learning it, okay, see, arm a little bit lower, I think. There, am I pre-rotating? Yeah, see, that's where I'm taking off. I'm doing like only like a quarter to a half, so big detection, because I'm actually doing it. Yeah, if I had my arms just in my chest where they're supposed to be, I think it would make it a lot less consistent and like a less chaotic element to kind of get in my way. So, oops. And that was rough. And that's an inside edge. Let's alert. It's a little bit better, but it is still an inside edge. I do not get the LUTs. It makes no sense to me. And okay, this is another spin entrance where you wind up and then turn. Again, with a lot of this, I'm really not sure where my body is supposed to be. And I'm realizing, like, okay, everything starts from the ice to the hips, and oh, down we go. Oh, you should read the book Out of Shape Worthless Loser by Gracie Gold. Then you'll understand that little text block. Okay, for the time we have left, let me just explain my edge system really quickly. All right, so right foot. Outside edge is yellow. It's the edge you use for the toe loop and loop takeoff, and also the edge that you land on, assuming you do counterclockwise jumps like most people. The inside edge on the right foot is blue. No official jumps take off on that edge yet. I would love to create one. That'd be awesome. The little one I was trying earlier was what I was talking about. And the toe stop on the right foot is orange, which is used on the toe loop. Now the left foot. The outside edge on the left foot is green, and that is used for the LUTs and the axle takeoff. Of course, LUTs backwards, axle forward. And then the left inside edge is pink, which is used for the flip and sow cow takeoff. And the toe pick for that is purple. So, and then the purple toe pick is used for the LUTs takeoff and the flip, because the others are edge jumps. So I'm just drying off my skates now, putting these on, because they did rust a little bit because I did not store them properly. Like, I just put the hard guards on, so I dry them, put those on, and then, you know, when I like store them upright at home, I'll put the other guards on. But I don't know why, I just assumed they dry. But yeah, and then I put this over my shoulder. The straps go around. You can't use the skate strap because of the blades, so it's this person on Etsy. Okay, so I basically balance this on this shoulder and this on this shoulder, and then try to ride this thing. I don't know why I had an accent. Okay, so thanks so much for watching. I am definitely still like in the beginning stages, but I feel like I'm improving, and because I'm perfecting the technique, sometimes it feels like I'm taking a step backwards, but I feel like in the long run it will be better. I am not feeling great. My words I'm like struggling to not slur them. I filmed the first part, and then my phone was like out of power, so then I was charging it. But the moment I thought I was like done filming and did it, I started getting symptoms. It's almost like relief. It's like, oh, I accomplished something. Then like my body just collapses. Like, my chest feels like achy, like a leg muscle that's like overworked and just like just needs to rest after some reps. I'm like trying to walk around. I'm like kind of lightheaded. Like, I do not feel well, and it's like my body's like screaming out like, argh. But my mind is like, really? You barely did anything today and you're gonna freaking sit down? What's wrong with you? And that voice inside my head, it's a really cruel voice.
that is an abusive voice, so I need to not listen to it because a lot of people aren't gonna believe me. I realize that. No one's ever believed me, but I have to at least believe in myself. It's so cheesy, but there is something wrong. And if I do have this, what's interesting, they say it's the same quality of life as someone with congestive heart failure or kidney dialysis, which I can attest to because when the symptoms were so severe, I almost checked myself into a facility. And I would have if I hadn't had so many traumatic experiences where I just wanted help and was invalidated and treated like crap. So, anyone who has an invisible illness, heart goes out to you. I can't overwork it because it's aching, but don't let anyone invalidate your experience. And do your best to do what you love. This is it. Wait. I don't know. Anyway, gonna try to take care of myself. I'll have a little snack, a little coffee, sit down for an episode of Mom, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.